Hello. It's it's a day of weigh-in, so I had a weigh-in today. And I weighed in at 10 stone 10 pounds. I thought that it was going to be lower than that because I weighed myself before I went, which I do every week. Weigh myself before I go because I'm not very good at dealing with surprises at weigh-in. Because the weigh-in lady is nice and everything, but it's a very personal thing being weighed in, isn't it? So I do it because and I only ever take the Slimming World weigh-in as the proper weight, but I do it so I can kind of prepare myself just in case. And today I weighed myself at home at 10 stone 8.4, but when I got to Slimming World I was 10 stone 10. I've got a coffee with almond milk I'm just drinking, and I think it was because I didn't take all my jumpers off, so I've got a vest top, a long sleeve slimline top, a jumper, like a thin jumper, and then another fleece on top, and I think it was just because I still had most of my clothes on, so I'm not going to fuss about it too much. I was pretty excited to see the 10 stone 8.4 this morning, and I know that that's because last week went really well. I've been working really hard on figuring out my food addictions and figuring out how things work in my head, understanding because obviously you deal with cravings all the time, different ways in which you sort of deal with them. Your brain plays tricks on you, all sorts of different ways in which things happen. And I think now I've understood that I am a food addict, and I am somebody who struggles around certain foods. I've sort of come to terms with that, and I'm okay. Obviously I sort of understood that was the case before, but there was a little bit of me just presumed that I wasn't really that bad. It was just like a touch of it, if you know what I mean, and then I could just deal with it as you know, as sort of it would probably just subside, and then I just carry on as normal. But I think I had to make the decision that whether I've kind of diagnosed myself harshly or not, it doesn't really matter. I think I just have to make the decision that I'm going to do that. So stick to my savvy sins, which for me, savvy sins mean foods that are nourishing, healthy, but also do not elicit a want to eat more response. So for example, I've just eaten a pack of pistachio nuts from my Healthy Extra B, and that's a really good, it's a food that if I had a giant packet of it, I very well might want to eat lots of, in terms of probably wouldn't be able to stop, but it's a small packet that's easily that's not easily opened, so you have to sort of actually try and open it in order to open it, unlike a kind of a Ziploc bag, which is, you know, sort of easy to open and then reseal easily. So that it's sort of like sometimes my savvy sins are savvy because they're the packaging rather than necessarily their like if I ate it in a different circumstance I probably wouldn't be eating it. So I've got better at recognizing the feeling of when I'm about to eat something. I always measure it and I think, will I be able to stop with this food? Is this something that won't keep calling at me? And also recognise, because another dichotomy I had was that, am I wrong for enjoying Slimming World food? So I sort of thought about I had in the back of my head, not consciously, but like at the back of my head, yeah, like diet food. Diet food's supposed to be bland. Diet food's supposed to be unenjoyable. Yes, I enjoy my food, but am I wrong for doing so? Am I wrong because people don't like vegetables often and things? Maybe I'm wrong for enjoying vegetables. I mean, I know there's a fair amount of me that understands that that's not right. That's nonsense, really. but there's still a bit of me that sort of can't quite work out. Maybe I'm missing something, because lots of people say they don't like vegetables, lots of people say they don't like certain foods, or they feel deprived when they're unslimming well, and I feel like maybe I'm missing the point somewhere. Maybe I'll become unstuck at some point, but I realise it's because my dad was somebody who always introduced us to lots of different types of vegetables and fruits. I didn't really like them at the time, but we always knew of them. We always knew that they existed. There was always some new fruit, some new vegetable that he'd bring in. There was always something. My mum was very good at cooking things. She liked sort of quite plain food. She doesn't like a lot of garlic, a lot of hot spicy things, but my dad always did it. Lots of garlic, lots of spices, lots of interesting combinations of things. He would never particularly stick to one type of food. It was always something new each time. Although as a child I was a lot of crazy things. I recognise that now as an adult that's perfectly normal to me. And actually, although I feel a bit like odd because I like lots of different odd combinations of things, actually that's just because of how I grew up. So, and also I like the taste of things. Obviously I'm a vegetarian. I've been vegetarian all my life, so we did eat a lot of vegetables, lots of different types of things, because when I was young there wasn't vegetarian alternatives of things. There was no Linda McCartney stuff. There was everything. You had to kind of make everything from scratch in order to be a vegetarian at that point. There was no convenience foods, so I did, I'm okay with celery and lentils and beetroot, and I remember only as the kid, things I didn't like as a kid that I remember were mushrooms and courgettes, raw mushrooms, and nuts. So I remember learning to eat nuts. I remember learning to like the taste. I remember I liked cashew nuts and peanuts, but I remember having to train myself to like macadamia nuts and Brazil nuts and walnuts, because they taste a little bit bitter, don't they? But I remember eating them going, I don't think I like this, and then eating and trying to sort of practice eating them. I remember doing that as a kid, because that's what my family did. That my family ate those things. So I think I've got a memory of that stuff, which is why now, as an adult, I don't have a problem with eating tasty, healthy foods. We had a lot of tasty, healthy foods. One of my ideal things is to go into a vegan or vegetarian restaurant and have an amazing kind of delicious vegetable and grains combination of meal. That's a lovely thing in my mind. So I think I understand now why I think I'm doing something wrong, because I enjoy vegetables, I enjoy fruit, I actually really, really enjoy the meals, and there's a bit of me expects that I shouldn't be enjoying them, that I should be on a diet, so everything should be bland and miserable and boring. But you see, it is entirely not my experience. So because I've got to that realization, I understand I'm allowed to just eat it. I enjoy it. I'll just eat it. I don't need to add all the extra unsavvy sins to it, so I enjoy it because I enjoy it already. So I can sort of let go of that guilt, if you know what I mean. And I'm finding that my savvy sins I'm very, very, very happy with myself, because I can have crisps in the house that do not induce me wanting to eat all of them. So we have Twiglets, we have sort of Sunbites multigrain bites, like whole grain type things. We have the only one I've had recently that's given me a bit of trouble, but not too much, is tortilla chips. They're different flavour, like spinach tortilla chips and beetroot tortilla chips. They're very, very small packets of only like 15 tortilla chips in them, and I really got them for the kids so they could have something sort of crispy but healthy for you, and wasn't very much of them. But I think they're a bit salty, so I don't think I'll get them in the future, because I think the multigrain ones are better. They're just less salty. But yeah, so it means the kids have got something for a packed lunch that's healthy and easy and quick. We can just shove something in a bag that doesn't take too much effort. So that's nice to be able to have them back in the house, because it is harder without them, and I don't want to eat them all. And there's lots of packets in the cupboard. I've had them maybe a month or so now of that, having that type of food in the house, and I haven't wanted to eat them all. And I've had one a day when I come back from work. I come back from work now at 5:30. No, the shop shuts up as well. I come back from work at 6 o'clock, and I put together a platter for me and the kids of breadsticks. So we have a packet of breadsticks, a small packet, and we share it between 3 bowls. So it's 4 sins between 3 bowls, and that's just a couple of breadsticks each. That works out quite well, because it's sort of 1 to 2 sins, you know. Yeah, it's 1.5 or something like that, sins each. And then a fruit bowl, and that's nice. And sometimes instead of breadsticks, we'll have a packet of crisps shared between us. So we'll have like a little, there's some sweet chili crisps, but they're very, very light flavoured. They're not very salty, and they're just a little bit flavoursome, but not too flavoursome. And we'll have I don't give them Twiglets, because I don't like Twiglets, but Twiglets are useful for me. I quite like that. They don't make me feel like I want another packet. I finish these things and I think that's enough. And I don't even necessarily want the same packet every day, if you know what I mean. I can swap between them all. And that works really, really well. It's a really nice thing to be able to have back in my life, is some crisps. But not want to like eat the whole packet, you know. And it feels really, really good. And that's one of the other things I wanted to say, is that although today I didn't get kind of the weight loss that I thought I was going to get, I don't really care, because firstly I know that it's probably because I had an extra jumper on, and also I know that I'm sure it will come off next week, because I've really got my head into it now. I really understand. I've got myself really nice and settled in, and some lovely routines I've got into place. And so that's why I'm really happy this week, because I've understood that I sort of really feel like it's gone properly in my head that I am a food addict, and not just food in general, but specific foods. There are specific foods that I cannot have normal behaviour around, so that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. All I need to do is recognise that and deal with it accordingly, which is don't have those things in my house, which I don't anyway. I'm not sort of saying this is a new realisation. I get this. I understand this is not a new realisation, but what it is an acceptance of it. So I've been feeling this way for quite some time. Hello, I'm just doing a quick video at the moment. Have you got your telly behind you? Do you want to just... Oh, you're right, so is it broken? I'm just undoing it. Okay. Benjamin's just in the bath, okay? So yeah, it's not a realisation. It's just an acceptance of the fact that it's something that's okay. It's okay that I enjoy my fruits and vegetables. It's okay that I enjoy my meals. It's okay that I don't need extra sins on my meals to enjoy them. It's okay that the Slimming World diet is a healthy diet, so it means that I don't have to worry that I'm not getting the right nutrients. It's okay for me to find ways in which I don't put myself into unnecessary situations. So, and it's also good that it's also okay that I voice my difficulties with certain scenarios. So I used to feel a bit of a failure if I said I didn't really want to be in my house by myself. My battery's not strong enough, so it's going to keep it keeps closing itself. So just wanted to say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Lots of love. Bye.